Welcome to Void Realities, a space where restless minds can finally drift and sleepless nights soften into quiet wonder. Tonight, we step into the strange, poetic world of quantum physics, a universe where nothing makes sense, yet somehow everything works. Together, we'll explore how reality, at its smallest scale, flickers between uncertainty and order, weaving a paradox that holds stars, life, and even your own heartbeat. So breathe slowly. Let the noise of the day slip away and allow your mind to settle. This is not a lecture, but a lullaby of science, a gentle journey into the mysteries of existence, designed to calm your thoughts and carry you towards sleep. Now, let us begin. Nothing makes sense, but everything works. Quantum physics. You lie back, your body softening into the surface beneath you, and you imagine your hand resting gently in the dim light of your room. At first glance, your hand feels like the most ordinary of things. Solid, steady, reliable. You have trusted it since the earliest days of your life. It touches, it grasps, it carries. It seems firm and unchanging. Yet beneath that comfort of solidity, a quieter truth is waiting, almost hidden from ordinary sight. The skin you see is not the end of the story. Beneath it, cells gather in intricate communities, each made of molecules, each molecule composed of atoms. Atoms. The word may remind you of something tiny, something indivisible. But an atom, though small, is not compact like a pebble. Instead, it is vast in proportion, mostly open space. Imagine a cathedral, immense and echoing, and in the center of that cathedral, a single dust mote floats. That mote is like the nucleus of an atom, dense and tiny, while the cathedral's wide emptiness is the space that makes up most of everything you call solid. Already, the firm comfort of matter feels different. What you thought of as dense is, in truth, airy. What seemed still is restless. For electrons, the small companions of the nucleus, never sit in one fixed spot. They hum and flicker in places they might be, cloud-like, their exact position always uncertain. You cannot point to where they are. You can only say where they are likely to appear. This uncertainty is not a flaw. It is the way of things. In your hand, in the chair beneath you, in the air that slips quietly into your lungs, everything vibrates with this hidden rhythm of possibility. Even in silence, the smallest scales of existence are restless, as if whispering secrets through the gaps of reality. To sense this is to enter a gentler awareness, that solidity is an illusion created by scale. Your body does not fall through the floor because of the dance of electric charges, repelling and balancing, not because matter is truly packed tight. You live supported not by walls of stone, but by invisible forces, weaving strength out of emptiness. It is a strange comfort, this paradox. You are held up by what is not there. You are shaped by spaces that seem hollow, but are alive with motion. The stillness you feel is only a trick of your eyes and your sense of touch. The real story of matter is flickering, humming, dynamic, as if the universe itself is made of whispers too soft for your waking mind to hear. And yet, even with all this hidden movement, your hand remains your hand. You can curl it, release it, rest it upon your chest. The paradox does not dissolve your life. It deepens it. You are both solid and not solid, stable and restless, ordinary and miraculous at once. As you drift through this thought, the boundaries of certainty begin to loosen. The mind that once demanded clarity now leans into softness. If everything that seems solid is mostly empty, what else might the universe be hiding? If electrons, so small and elusive, can never be pinned down, what does that say about the nature of knowing itself? The whispers beneath the visible world invite you to listen more closely. They invite you to see that possibility, not certainty, is the foundation of reality. And this possibility leads gently to another thought. that perhaps the world is less like a machine of cogs and gears and more like a dance of chance, flowing patterns of probability waiting to be noticed. You close your eyes and imagine a single particle, one of those restless companions that make up the fabric of your hand, the chair, the air. You might think of it as a speck, darting like a tiny bead across an invisible stage, but that image belongs to a world of certainty where objects travel in neat paths, predictable and clear. The quantum world resists such tidy pictures. A particle is not simply here or there. Instead, it spreads like a mist, a soft haze of possibility. Physicists call this a wave function, not a wave of water, but a wave of chance. It ripples across space, describing every place the particle could be, every outcome it might take. You cannot point and say, there it is. You can only speak in probabilities, in chances, in maybes. Imagine tossing a coin, not once, but endlessly. Each flip hums with possibility. Heads or tails, balanced in uncertainty until the coin lands. Now, stretch this idea across the universe. Every particle is like that coin, suspended in potential, not collapsed into a single outcome until it is touched, measured, or observed. This is the dance of probability. It is not clumsy or chaotic. It has rhythm, as if the universe breathes in patterns of chance. Where the wave is tall, the particle is more likely to be found. Where the wave is low, its presence is less likely. Reality is painted in gradients of possibility, a watercolor rather than a line drawing. And yet, from this haze of uncertainty, order emerges. The chair you sit on does not vanish into chance. The stars above do not dissolve into unpredictability. Why? Because when countless particles join their waves, probabilities stack and blend. Like overlapping melodies, they create a harmony of stability. The randomness of one coin flip feels uncertain. But when billions of flips occur together, patterns appear. Stability is built from the chorus of chance. You live within this chorus. The warmth of the sun on your skin arrives because photons, quanta of light, play out their probabilities, scattering, colliding, striking your skin in great numbers. Each photon's path is uncertain, but together they create the steady glow of daylight. The air you breathe behaves the same way. Each molecule moves unpredictably, colliding and wandering. But taken as a whole, the air follows patterns you can rely on: pressure, temperature, breath. There is a quiet comfort in this paradox. Randomness at the smallest scale, reliability at the largest. You are held by both. The certainty of your life is born from the uncertainty of its parts. The waves of probability hum constantly beneath your existence, weaving a tapestry that feels solid and dependable. As you let this sink in, your mind softens to the idea that certainty is not the foundation of reality. Possibility is. The universe is not built like a clock, its gears grinding predictably from one second to the next. Instead, it is more like music, each note uncertain, yet the melody unfolding with coherence and beauty. The thought may feel unsettling at first, but there is gentleness in it too. If everything were rigidly fixed, no surprise would ever arise. No new pattern, no spark of creation, no unfolding of the unexpected. It is the openness of probability that allows stars to form, rivers to carve valleys, thoughts to emerge in your mind. And so, you rest within a world that is never completely determined, never entirely closed. The fabric of possibility holds you gently, letting you live in a balance of stability and chance. You picture two particles born together, like twins sharing the same breath. They begin in the same place, spinning in delicate harmony, and then drift apart. One travels left, the other right, carried away by unseen currents. You might think their bond dissolves with distance, as friendships sometimes fade across miles. But in the quantum world, separation is not so simple. these particles remain connected. No matter how far they move apart, across a room, across a planet, or even across galaxies, a thread binds them. When you measure one, the other responds instantly, as if the two share a private language faster than light. This is entanglement, one of the strangest, most intimate truths of quantum physics. It is not like a message passing between them, for no signal crosses the space. Instead, it is as though the two were never truly separate at all. Their probabilities, their wave functions, overlap and intertwine, forming a single system stretched across distance. What happens to one completes the other, like two notes in a chord resonating as one. Einstein once called this spooky action at a distance. It unsettled him, this quiet defiance of common sense. For how could something here know what is happening there without time or space between? Yet experiment after experiment shows that entanglement is real, as undeniable as gravity. You may imagine it like an invisible string drawn taut between the two particles. Tug on one end and the other quivers. But even this picture is only partial. The connection is not through space but beyond it, as if space itself cannot sever their union. And in this mystery, you may feel a kind of tenderness. For entanglement reminds you that the universe is stitched together in ways your senses cannot fully grasp. Just as your heart and breath move together in quiet rhythm, so too do particles across the cosmos echo each other's states. In your body right now, entanglement hums. Electrons in your atoms may share correlations with others. Photons of light can become entangled as they pass through crystals or scatter in the air. Entanglement is not rare. It is woven into the everyday, invisible but ever present, like the hum of electricity behind a wall. What does this say about separateness? If the smallest pieces of matter resist being fully independent, perhaps your sense of isolation is also less complete than it seems. Perhaps connection is not something you must earn or reach for, but something already written into the structure of existence. You might think of friendships, of loves, of family ties that seem to endure even across time and distance. When you think of someone, they stir in your memory and a part of them feels present again. Quantum entanglement is not the same as human bonds, but it offers a metaphor that at the deepest levels, the universe prefers relationship over isolation. And so, as you breathe slowly and imagine those twin particles, you may feel less alone. You are part of a web that reaches farther than you can see, threads of connection shimmering quietly, unseen yet unbroken. You are still thinking of entanglement, of threads that bind particles across distance. The image lingers, like two stars whispering to each other across an infinite night. Yet now, another mystery waits at the edge of your awareness, one just as unsettling, just as profound. It is the question of what happens when you yourself look. In the quantum world, the act of observation is not neutral. To measure a particle is not like glancing at a pebble or a tree, simply noting what is already there. Instead, the very act of observing alters what is possible. The particle's haze of probabilities collapses into one outcome. This position, this momentum, this spin. Before the observation, it is spread across maybes. Afterward, it is definite. Physicists call this the collapse of the wave function. But you do not need equations to feel its strangeness. Imagine a coin spinning endlessly in the air, balanced between heads and tails. As long as it spins, both remain possible, shimmering together. Only when you catch it in your palm, only when you look, does it land as one or the other. And yet, the comparison falls short, for the quantum coin is not just waiting to be revealed. It truly exists in superposition, in many possibilities at once. The simple act of observing seems to pluck one reality from the many that could have been. This raises a gentle, unsettling question. What is the role of the observer? Are you merely watching the play of the universe, or are you, in some sense, part of the script itself? Experiments with particles and light suggest that how you choose to measure can decide how reality unfolds. Shine photons through a double slit without watching, and they spread as waves, interfering in elegant patterns. Watch closely which slit they pass through, and suddenly they act like solid particles, choosing one path or the other. Reality responds differently, depending on whether or not it is observed. This does not mean the universe bends entirely to your will, nor that your gaze alone conjures existence out of nothing. But it does suggest something humbling, that knowledge itself has weight, that the boundary between the observer and the observed is not cleanly drawn. Perhaps then you're less of a bystander in the cosmos and more of a participant. Your awareness joins the dance, subtle yet undeniable. Like a breath on glass leaving a soft fog, your act of looking leaves a trace on the surface of reality. It is tempting to wonder if this mystery touches on consciousness itself. What is it about awareness that folds possibilities into outcomes? Science does not claim to know. Some argue it is not the mind that matters, but the physical act of measurement, the interaction with instruments. Others suggest that awareness itself, the presence of a conscious observer, holds a special place. The debate lingers, unsolved, like a riddle whispered through time. As you lie here reflecting, the thought feels less like a puzzle to solve and more like a poem to rest within. You, a being of breath and thought, are entangled not only with the particles around you, but also with the very act of knowing them. Observation is not distant, it is intimate. Awareness is woven into the unfolding of what is. And so, the universe is not just something you look at, it is something you touch with your gaze. Each observation is a meeting point, a delicate handshake between possibility and presence. You are still holding the thought from before, that your observation leaves a trace, that awareness itself may touch the fabric of reality. But the mystery deepens when you realize that quantum strangeness is not confined to faraway labs or distant particles in space. It hums inside you, in the machinery of life itself. Consider a leaf, thin and green, reaching toward the sun. Light falls on it, and the leaf answers with photosynthesis, the quiet alchemy that turns sunlight into energy. At first, it seems simple. Light is absorbed, sugars are made, life continues. But when scientists peer into this process, they find quantum choreography at work. Photons, quanta of light, enter the leaf and must find their way to a reaction center where their energy can be captured. The path is complex, tangled like a maze. By ordinary rules, energy should lose its way, wasting itself in the detours. Yet photosynthesis is astonishingly efficient. The photon's energy seems to travel as if it knows the fastest path. Quantum physics offers an explanation. Instead of taking one route at a time, the energy spreads like a wave, sampling many paths at once through a principle called superposition. It is as though the energy runs every possible route simultaneously, then chooses the quickest one. In this way, plants drink light with nearly perfect precision, feeding the entire web of life. The same strange laws reach into your own body. Within your cells, particles sometimes face barriers, walls of energy they should not cross. Yet through a process called quantum tunneling, they slip through, as if ghosting past the rules. Tunneling allows chemical reactions to occur that otherwise would stall. Without it, the slow machinery of life would falter. Even your senses may whisper of quantum tricks. Consider smell, a sense often overlooked, yet deeply tied to memory and emotion. The old idea was that you smell by shape. Molecules fit into receptors like keys into locks. But this story left puzzles unsolved. Why do some molecules of similar shape smell different and some of different shapes smell alike? One new idea suggests that smell relies not just on shape, but on quantum vibrations. The receptors in your nose may detect the energy patterns of molecules, sensing their quantum dance. Each fragrance is not only a form but a song, and still there is more. Birds migrating across continents may use quantum effects in their eyes to sense Earth's magnetic field, a compass woven of probabilities. Enzymes that guide life's chemistry may rely on delicate quantum leaps to speed their work. Life is not built despite quantum strangeness, but with its help. When you reflect on this, a softness arises. Quantum mechanics is not only the realm of distant stars and elusive particles. It is the engine of breath, of growth, of survival. You are alive because, at the smallest scales, particles disobey rigid rules and instead follow subtler patterns of chance and possibility. It is humbling, and it is comforting. You are not a separate thing perched atop quantum physics. You are its expression. Every heartbeat, every thought, every memory is shaped by invisible processes that bend probability into life. You have wandered through the strange landscapes of the quantum world. Particles flickering like whispers, probabilities shaping reality, threads of entanglement binding distant twins, observation leaving quiet fingerprints, and life itself leaning on improbable leaps. At first glance, it might seem chaotic, even fragile, a universe too uncertain to sustain the weight of existence. And yet, here you are, breathing steadily, resting in a world that feels dependable. The paradox is striking. Beneath every certainty lies uncertainty, yet from this uncertainty rises order. Stars burn with fierce stability for billions of years, built from the dance of particles that, individually, cannot be pinned down. Rivers carve paths across continents, reliable as seasons, even though each water molecule follows a chaotic trail. Your heart beats rhythmically, though its chemistry is guided by particles tunneling, vibrating, choosing unpredictable routes. This is the secret comfort. Randomness is not the enemy of order, but its foundation. Out of countless uncertain events, patterns emerge, like ripples in a pond settling into circles. The chaos is not destruction, but possibility, opening the way for complexity, structure, and life. Imagine rolling dice again and again. Each roll is unpredictable. But if you keep rolling, a pattern forms. Averages, probabilities, reliable outcomes. Quantum physics works in a similar way. One particle may be uncertain, but when many join together, their probabilities weave into stability. It is this harmony of chance that builds the world you know. Even the stars are born from uncertainty. Clouds of gas drift in space, their particles colliding unpredictably. Yet over time, gravity gathers them, compresses them, ignites fusion. From the randomness of collisions comes the steady fire that lights the sky. And within those stars, heavier elements form, scattering when stars die, seeding planets, oceans, and eventually, you. It is the same with life. Mutations arise in DNA, each a random shift. Most fade, some harm, but a few bring advantage. Through this slow accumulation, order and adaptation emerge. Evolution itself is a story of uncertainty sculpted into harmony. Without randomness, there would be no change, no growth, no diversity. And so you see that chaos and order are not opposites but partners, weaving reality together. The uncertainty of the quantum world does not make life fragile. It makes life possible. It allows the universe to be dynamic, creative, ever unfolding. There is a kind of peace in recognizing this. You do not need to fear uncertainty, for it is the same uncertainty that lights the stars and breathes life into your cells. What feels unstable is, in truth, the source of resilience. You are held not by rigid certainty, but by the soft strength of possibility woven into patterns far greater than yourself. As you rest in this thought, you might picture the universe as a great fabric. Each thread trembles with chance, vibrating with uncertainty, yet together the threads form a tapestry, rich with shape and meaning. From close up, you see only the tremble of fibers. Step back, and the picture emerges. Coherent, beautiful, whole. The paradox becomes a lullaby. Nothing makes sense, yet everything works. The quantum world is strange, yes, but its strangeness is what allows you to live, breathe wonder. It is what allows the stars to shine and the earth to turn. It is what carries you through each moment of existence. And so, you let go into the rhythm of uncertainty, trusting the order hidden within it. For even in the smallest flicker of chance, the universe carries a harmony beyond sight, a harmony that is always, quietly, holding you. You have walked slowly through the quiet corridors of quantum physics. Each chapter has been a step, a lantern lit in the shadows of reality, showing you not answers carved in stone, but questions that breathe, shimmer, and unfold. Now, as you settle deeper into rest, it is time to gather these threads, not to bind them tightly, but to let them drift like soft ribbons in the air, weaving around you as you drift toward sleep. The journey began with whispers beneath the visible. The revelation that what feels solid in your hand is at its core more empty space than substance. And yet, in that emptiness, a restless rhythm stirs. Electrons hum, particles flicker, possibility dances. What you thought of as stillness is alive with motion. This was your first invitation to see that beneath the ordinary lies the extraordinary, beneath the apparent lies the hidden pulse of being. From there, you stepped into the dance of probability. You saw that the universe is not written in absolutes, but in gradients of chance. A particle is never simply here or there, but spreads like a wave of maybes, collapsing only when touched, measured, seen. It is a strange way for a world to exist, yet it gives rise to stability. Out of countless coin flips, patterns emerge. Out of probabilities, order grows. You learn to rest in the idea that uncertainty does not destroy, it creates. Then came entanglement, those threads of connection stretched across distance. Two particles, once born together, never truly part. They remain bound, whispering across galaxies without delay. This is not a trick, not an illusion, but a truth of nature itself. And in it, you felt the echo of intimacy. That separateness is never complete. That connection is more fundamental than isolation. The cosmos is stitched together, and you are stitched within it. The observer's touch followed, unsettling and profound. You learned that looking is not passive, that observation itself leaves fingerprints. In the quantum world, possibilities collapse into outcomes when they are observed. Reality does not unfold without participation, and so you, with your awareness, are not outside the play, but a quiet actor within it. Consciousness itself becomes part of the story, not an afterthought. In the next breath, you turned toward life. Quantum mechanics was no longer distant or abstract, but close and tender, humming in leaves and cells, in smell and sight, in the quiet beating of your heart. Photosynthesis, tunneling, enzymes, and even the compass of birds, all of these depend on quantum strangeness. Life is not built in spite of the improbable, but through it. You are alive because the universe bends rules, allows tunnels, leaps across impossibilities. And finally, you arrived at the order hidden within uncertainty. The paradox resolved itself. Chaos is not the enemy of harmony, but its origin. From randomness, stability blooms. From chance, structure rises. Stars ignite, rivers flow, life evolves, all because the quantum world prefers openness over rigidity, possibility over certainty. Nothing makes sense, and yet everything works. Now, in this soft epilogue, you stand still, as if at the edge of a vast ocean. You do not need to swim further, nor to map every shore. Instead, you rest in the sound of waves, the gentle rhythm of the tide. The mysteries of quantum physics are not puzzles to be solved tonight. They are lullabies, melodies that soothe by reminding you that not everything must be explained to be trusted. Look around your life. The solidity of walls, the warmth of light, the steady beat of your own pulse. All of it rests on foundations that, at the smallest scale, defy common sense. And yet, you need no constant thought of atoms or probabilities to walk, to breathe, to dream. The universe holds you perfectly, even when you do not understand how. There is peace in letting go of the need for certainty. You're not required to grasp every detail, to solve every paradox. Just as the stars burn without your permission, just as plants drink sunlight without your instruction, so too does the universe weave its harmony without your control. You may rest, knowing that order persists even within uncertainty, that life continues even through chance. Perhaps then, the lesson of quantum physics is not to untangle every thread, but to lean into wonder, to allow space for the strange, the improbable, the unseen, to trust that reality does not need to make sense to be beautiful or to work. And so you lie back, eyes heavy, body softened by gravity's embrace. You feel the breath in your chest, steady and quiet. You feel the rhythm of your heart, unbidden yet constant. You remember that beneath each beat, beneath each thought, quantum whispers are at play, flickering, uncertain, yet weaving a harmony strong enough to carry your entire life. The universe hums around you. It hums within you. Particles dance, probabilities shift, connections shimmer unseen. You are both part of this dance and cradled by it. You are not separate, not alone. You are stitched into the same fabric as stars and atoms, leaves and rivers, thoughts and dreams. You do not need to solve the mystery. You need only to rest in it, to let it hold you as it always has, as it always will.